What's up, people? Just a reminder, between Christmas and New Year's, the show's not live. We'll post some other things for you on socials, YouTube, pod, etc. But if you're like, hey, they didn't break down that Christmas Day signing.
I got one more day, then y'all can do whatever y'all want until after the New Year. So
Anything?
I don't really care after that.
Oh, well, we're actually
we don't
planning
do
to
what we
an
want
SEC
anyway?
football show. Yeah. No, we were going to do an SEC football show for a week, but well.
No, you won't. It'll
No,
be called
we
the
won't.
playoffs. Because first of all, you wouldn't know anything about it, and you're a Miami team. Sorry. Thank you, Syracuse, for ending that dream.
Sure. I've moved on to Rutgers basketball.
Oh, well,
No, they won this weekend.
they did on a last-second shot by
They're
our guy.
sick.
By our
Yeah,
guy.
I showed that to you guys, right?
By our guy.
Yeah.
Our guy
That's
made
cool.
the last-second shot.
Ron
Todd
Harper
was
was on
there.
the show the other day. Yeah, Todd Father was there. That's
Todd
right.
goes to like every game, doesn't he?
He goes to a lot of Rutgers.
Is he like a
hoops.
super fan?
Well, he went to the school. The basketball team's finally pretty good. This is the time.
This is the way.
You gotta. I mean, I'm the same. Like if I lived nearby, I would go to most home games right
Really?
now. It's quick. You get there,
Thing.
you park right next to. I mean, it's college and it's a small gym, so you park right next to the arena. You can get there at 6:50. Watch a game, 7. It's done at 9. Boom, you're good to go. You see 2 NBA players in there. The other kid's insane. Anyway, all right, I can't do this. I can't do this. It's a baseball show. But before we
okay,
start,
you know what? I like this. Let's
Wait, I
talk
wanna do
about
our
other
question
things
of the
just
day.
for a second. Just for a second. I had to go to the DMV twice yesterday.
Ugh.
If you ever want to see America, go to the DMV. If you want to see all walks of life and everything in between, nice people, mean people, happy people, pissed off people, just go sit at the DMV like I did yesterday for a couple hours.
Sounds like they should update that process.
I don't know how they can. Then you got the teenage girl crying because her picture doesn't look great and she wants to take it again.
Then they should let her take it.
And then you
again.
got the 16-year-old kid that failed, and then you got the person that came without the right paperwork, and they're mad. And then you got the guy who just got his license, and they're jumping. I mean, it's all emotions. Everything is included in that one office.
I try to avoid that as
Well,
best
we
as
all do,
possible.
but I had to get a new license because mine was. I mean, I still had blonde hair in my license, so I mean, it was. They were like, "You got to get a new photo," and I was like, "Yes, I do."
That's good.
But
I
it was
like
fun. I mean, I sat there. It's very efficient here in Orange County. We're very efficient with our license problems.
that. Good. I'm glad. I mean, I don't even think I have to go anymore. You just, when it expires, you tell them and they send you.
Don't you have to get a Florida one though, since you're a resident now?
I haven't gotten one.
We want your taxes.
You get them, but I have not given my my license away yet. So we'll work on that. There you go. Now you know so much about us. And I didn't get to our question of the day, but I'll do that during one of the breaks. Let's charge the damn mound.
Charging the mound.
Tomoyuki Sugano is a member of the Baltimore Orioles rotation. 1 year, $13 million. Now he's 35 years old.
Just the guy we thought they were going to get.
Yeah, you see breaking news. Orioles sign starter Sugano, who could be good, but he is very much not Corbin Burns.
He was like 13-2 last year, wasn't
He won MVP in the Central League. He has won MVP 3 times in that league. For me, when I was reading about the international players that could sign this year via free
he?
agency,
I never even heard of this one.
I had heard of this one.
You had heard of this one?
But I was like, wait, I feel like I've heard and read about this guy. There were tons of articles about him back in the 2020 range because he was trying to come over back then and he didn't lock in a deal. This was 2021. He had to get the deal done by for posting. Nothing happened during that posting window. And he instead decided to stay in Japan and re-upped with Yomiuri for 4 years, $41 million.
Well, it worked out for him, all right.
It worked out. I mean, he made plenty of money. What did I say? 4 years, $40 million, not 41, with opt-outs after each season. So he did what? 3 more seasons? Yeah, 21, 22, 23.
24.
No, he did all. He did 4, and now he's back.
But he didn't have to be posted, right? He was just a free agent.
Now he's a free agent, yes. Originally, he was posted. But usually when a guy gets posted, Kratz, they come over. That's why I'm like, damn, that was a unique case. He could have been in the bigs for a while already at 32. Now he's 35, and he's a command control, low strikeout, a lot of different pitches guy who clearly wasn't super coveted when you're a starter and you only signed for $13 million.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see the strikeouts go higher, but $13 million. I mean, you think last year the Reds signed Frankie Montas at 15 or 17 million. So they went on the cheap here. Seems like he's durable. I mean, as far as Japanese pitchers that have come over, he's got higher innings. He had like 50 innings at home, 100-some innings on the road for the Giants, for the Yomiuri Giants. To me, good little pickup. Not enough yet.
No, I like it.
I mean,
for the back of the rotation.
It's a nice little pickup. Say that. It's a nice
velo's low.
Is it going to change the Orioles? I don't know. That's a nice pickup for them. It's depth, and they need depth.
Yeah,
they have a lot of dudes hurt. They don't know where they are with a lot of guys. So I don't mind this signing, but it's not changing my win total that much for the Orioles. Is he better than someone else they could have gotten?
No. This is what should be one of at least one or two more ads. So here's the potential opening day rotation after the Sugano signing. We're looking at it thanks to Jacob Calvin Myers, been on the show, covers the team. Zach Eflin 1, Grayson Rodriguez 2, or flip them, whatever, right? Dean Kramer 3, Sugano 4, Trevor Rogers 5, and then he posted other options. Cade Povich should be pretty good. Albert Suarez was pretty good for them last year. Brandon Young, Chase McDermott should be a nice depth starter for the ball club. And then, of course, they'll be waiting for Kyle Bradish, Tyler Wells to come back. Need a big boy there.
They still need an ace.
Need a big boy.
They still do. And they had him.
Does this help?
His name was Corbin Burns.
Does this help him get Sasaki?
I don't think it matters.
Nope. 0.
Because he's going to the White Sox, baby.
Does it help him get Sasaki?
Said 0. Nobody ever.
Said Sasaki himself. Says Tadahito Iguchi-san.
So if they don't get Burns, which it doesn't look likely, you keep seeing reports out there that it's between the Blue Jays and the Giants. I read Mark Feinsand yesterday adding to that, right? Then let's look at the big board. They're not getting Burns. They're not getting Sasaki. I have a hard time seeing them get Flaherty. They had him there. I know Flaherty had been well past the innings he put together for a few years, but he was there. Feel like that's not going to happen again. That just usually doesn't happen. Manaea, maybe. Walker Buehler, maybe. Pavetta
and Heaney, and even Buehler on a shorter term lease.
Yeah. Who's the guy? They got to get at least one on this board.
I just feel like Manaea's going to go back to New York. I don't know why.
I do too.
It just has that Pete Alonso vibe to me.
Mm-hmm. Why Manaea, Kratz?
I would switch it. I would say Manaea to the O's. It would be less of a big investment, maybe $100 million instead of looking at like $150 for some guys. I think Buehler would go to New York. New York's loving the reclamation project. Buehler for like $21 million, 1-year deal.
New York needs multiple guys. I could see them signing Buehler, and I've seen them linked to Pavetta.
Yeah.
I could buy that one too. So, okay, we're all in agreement. Nice number 5 starter. I don't even know if you'd call him high floor. You got to see how this kind of starter converts in the big leagues because the velo's low, the strikeout numbers are low, the splitter's good, the slider's good. We'll see, but this isn't the Amanaga debate.
It's a low risk for the Orioles.
Yeah, but this isn't like, oh, is he going to be a 1 or a 5? This is like, is he's
a
going to be
guy for him.
A 4.5 ERA okay guy? I think it would be pretty
Maybe
shocking.
Maybe he could do what Koji did. Koji Uehara came over and then he became a dominant reliever.
Sure. Could be. That's not a bad call.
Because he was a low velo, high spin rate split guy.
Yeah. If he's getting through them the first time through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, older too. All right, let's do this. Stepping aside because our first guest of the day is Kyle Teel, the future of the Chicago White Sox.
Ooh.
Shout out to Storyworth, sponsoring today's episode of Foul Territory. You're giving those you love a thoughtful personal gift from the heart. If you go to storyworth.com/foul and get $10 off your first purchase, you know who you are if you have not finished holiday shopping. And there are quite a few people that fill that void.
I'm done.
You're done?
I leave tomorrow, so I'm done.
Kratz?
Almost finished. All buying is finished, yes. Wrapping isn't
me,
done.
Not even close. So you hit up Storyworth. You do not have to go to a store. You do not even have to worry about shipping some product in time because you're actually getting them the ability to put together a family scrapbook. You're sending in all the topics and answers to those topics and questions, and then they're putting the book together for you. So this is for that person that needs the minimal work done, but the maximal impact gift. I liked that, actually. Minimal work done if you're giving it out, maximal impact gift.
You're lazy, Scott. What can we say?
Thank you.
You're not thoughtful and you're lazy.
Which I am.
Yeah, but Scott doesn't like junk. Scott doesn't like junk, and this is not junk.
Exactly. That is true.
Scott, you better check your junk.
That's the first thing I would put if I had to do a StoryWorth for AJ. I would put lines like that in there, and it's why the StoryWorth product has 35,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. So go to storyworth.com/foul.
If you're looking for a perfect gift for somebody that you just don't know what to get, and you have pictures and you have a long relationship with them, this is the way to go. Especially if they're an emotional person, because there will be a lot of times tears flowing.
Yeah, when you get the question in and you start writing, it's really good. So $10 off your first purchase, storyworth.com/foul. Kyle Teel is going to join us next on FT. Ken Rosenthal at 1:45 Eastern time. So we're about half an hour away from Ken. And Will Benson, Red Slugger, joining us at 2:20. I've been looking forward to talking to this prospect, future big leaguer, Kyle Teel, joining us right now. Kyle moving over from Boston's organization to the Chicago White Sox organization. So what better show to pop up on right away here? Kyle, first off, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Really good. Thanks for the time, man. You got to give him a welcome.
Well, first of all, does it still seem weird that you're a White Sox and not a Red Sox?
Just happened.
Yeah, it definitely happened really quickly, but I'm just excited and ready to go. As the days have gone on, it feels more and more normal, I would say.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I went the other way. I went White Sox. Is it White Sox? White Sox?
You played for them forever.
I don't know.
You should know.
I don't know. Is it a Red Sox? Red Sox? I don't know. Anyway.
You never figured
By the way,
that
I'm going
out?
to call you the wrong name because I don't know why I want to call you Brian so bad, but I'm going to do it. I don't know. Like the whole time we're like, we have Kyle Teel coming on, and for some reason in my mind, I'm like, well, Brian Teel, he's a hell of a player. But I don't know why. But no, sorry, Kyle. If I do it, just ignore me. I'm Polish.
All good.
Okay, but what's it like when you get traded? Because I was traded, but I had already established myself in the major leagues. When you get the call, I don't know who called you. Craig Breslow called you? Did Chris Getz call you? Who's the first call you got? And what was it like when you got that call where you're like, wait, I put in my time with the Red Sox. They paid me a lot of money out of Virginia, and now they're just shipping me off to another team.
Yeah, I was talking. The first call I got was Paul Taboni, and I was on the phone with my buddy Mike Vassell, and he's part of the Rays organization right now. And I was in the middle of telling him how I hope he gets picked up by the Red Sox in the Rule 5 draft. And then I get the call, and I call him right back and let him know what happened. And he's a character. He was like, no way. But yeah, Paul Taboni, and then Breslow called me soon after that, and it was a pretty crazy experience, but all good.
All right, the White Sox suck. How does that make you feel when you get traded to a team? I did that for AJ, not for you. But how does it feel when you go and you're like, okay, who am I getting traded to? Oh, man, I hope it's this team or I hope it's that team. Wait, it's the White Sox. There's a different opportunity there. Like, you could help build this org back up. So what was your first reaction when you heard it was the White Sox?
You know, I think the way you said it, like, there's a great opportunity. There's a great opportunity for me to break camp with the team. There's a great opportunity to help the organization get better. And I think that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So, I mean, I see the opportunity in front of me, and that makes me excited.
Kyle, did they say that to you? Because you just said something. You have an opportunity to break camp with the team. I think I read where the Red Sox said you weren't going to be able to do that. So now coming over, listen, what Kratz doesn't understand, Kratz played for like 400 minor league teams, okay? But when you're actually a prospect, like you are, they tell you different things, okay? So, like, they come to you and say, hey, we need you to work on this. We need you to work on that. So if the White Sox said to you, hey, you have a great opportunity, because they have Corey Lee, who was the main guy for him last year. And then after that, there's kind of whoever. And if you go in and have a good spring, did they say, hey, you could break the team at the big league club?
Yeah, I haven't got the official invite to big league spring training, but I mean, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with it. And yeah, it'll be my first big league spring training. This has all happened really quickly. Getting drafted a year and a half ago. I mean, I've moved up the ladder really quickly, and yeah, I'm just excited to see where the journey keeps taking me. So,
are you all right? So your answer here is going to dictate if I'm going to ask you the next part of the question. Are you going to change who you are because of going to big league camp or being in the big leagues if you start the season? Are you going to change who you are or the player that you are? Be careful how you answer.
You know, I don't think I'm going to change anything, to be honest with you. Like the way I play the game, I don't like when you say change, what do you mean by change?
I mean, how you prepare. Maybe I'll give you a little hint. Are you going to change how you do your dry swings?
Okay. I would say pretty much. Yeah, I feel like I've got my routine pretty set in stone, how I want to do things. Like towards the end of the year in AAA, that's really what I was focusing on, and that helped bring me a lot of success that last month. And I just want to do what helps me be the best I can be.
That's good. Don't change who you are. Excuse me. Don't change who you are. But Epi told me that you do most of your dry swings fully nude before the game. Is this true or false?
True. Yeah, it's true.
Okay, good. So when you're
I need more on this.
I'm going to need a little more than just good.
Yeah, bring us in.
Yeah, we're going to have to break this down. Because the Red Sox, Johnny Damon used to do naked pull-ups. You got Kyle Teel doing naked. I mean, let's dig in here. Are the White Sox okay with this? You know, the White Sox aren't the Red Sox.
Yes, they are.
You know, we're gonna have to wait and see. I might have to run it by some people, but it became kind of a tradition last year. Like we'd have our meetings, and then pregame we'd all be getting ready, and I'd pick up the bat, and it just became a funny tradition that we would do before we'd hop in the shower and get ready to play the game. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes coming up, but I mean, we'll see.
Wait, you're a pregame shower guy? Like you guys smell 100%. Good to be out there on the field?
Yeah, I mean, you feel fresh out there, you know what I mean? It's just you get a better vibe out there. You know, you got to feel fresh a little bit.
AJ, were you a pregame shower guy, or did you go out in the grime?
Oh, listen, at no point did I ever take a shower before, unless it was a doubleheader and I caught the first game. Then I would work out after the game and shower before the second game. But if I would go from the time I got there, workout, BP and Texas, Atlanta, all them hot, never change anything. Phew, right into the game. But I smell good. I didn't have to be cologne. I wasn't a cologne. I just naturally have an aroma.
Genetically.
Right, so
I mean, I put a little, I do a New Jersey shower, a little deodorant.
Yeah.
Kyle.
So wait, no, I want to know why Kyle. Why does Kyle? I mean, he said that, but I mean, isn't that like a waste of water and a waste of towels, a waste of energy?
Really? You're worried about that?
The clubhouse guy's got to wash the towels extra times.
I feel like it all depends too, right? Like if you're playing well and you're not showering before the game, you're not going to shower before the game. But if you're playing well, getting a shower in, you're going to get a shower in. It's just how it goes.
Okay, that's good. But bench guys. Chase Utley said bench guys are the ones that need to shower before the game because if you're sitting on the bench, you can't stink. Because when you get in the game, you can't stink at baseball. And starting players don't ever want to come in after striking out and sit next to somebody who's not even playing and they smell bad. So that's showering before the game. That's for the dudes like me who didn't play. Now I got that info from Epi, and I'll have to show you what the praise was, your AA manager. Epi said he has never seen anybody who loves the game of baseball like you love the game of baseball other than Dustin Pedroia. Expand on that. Where'd that love come from? Why do you why is that it's so infectious? What do you love the most about it?
Well, I got to shout out Epi. Epi was the man. I loved playing for him. When it comes to this game, it's something I've always done. It's just like a part of me, and I love the game, plain and simple. I love to compete every day. I love to get better, and it's just what I love to do.
I like that.
Good. We need more of those people on the South Side.
Yeah.
We need more of those people. Are you going to Sox Fest for the White Sox? Are they
Yeah, I
bringing
am.
you in?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going.
I'd say I meet you there, but my invite must have got lost in the email. That's a whole different story. So listen, you'll be a big league. There's no way they're not going to invite you to big league camp. Come on, come on. I mean, that would be a crime against humanity if they didn't invite him to big league camp, right?
Yeah.
So what's the first thing that you're looking forward to when you get to big league camp? Because you're going to be there. I'm sorry. If they're not, I'll call Chris Getz personally and say, "What the hell are you doing?" But what's the first thing you're looking forward to? The spread? Are you looking forward to, when you show up and Rawlings is going to have all this cool gear for you? When you're going to have bats with your name on them. You're going to have cleats. I mean, what's the thing? Because I remember, 25 years ago when I went to my first big league, more than that now, I was like, oh man, I get a bat with my name on it. Super cool, right? So what's the thing you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I've heard the big league wood is next level. I heard the ball flies with the big league wood. I'm looking forward to getting nice bats, but mainly I'm really looking forward to just meeting the people in the organization, meeting my teammates. I think I'm just looking forward to meeting people. I think that's the number one thing I'm looking forward to, and then it's just that'll be step number one, and then step number two is I'm looking forward to getting on the field and playing some ball.
Are you a baseball historian at all?
I wouldn't consider myself one.
Do you know of any good left-handed hitting catchers that played for the White Sox in the last 15 years, 20 years?
I probably will know who you're talking about once you say his name.
You ever heard of the name AJ Pierzynski?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. He hits left-handed.
That was not fair.
Can you beat his records, and would it mean more to you to beat his hitting records as a left-handed hitting catcher or win more World Series?
I mean, I strive to do the best I can and every day. So if that equates to me beating his records, that's freaking awesome. But why not win World Series as well? Let's do both, that would be awesome.
Go for the second one. Go for the second one, okay? Go for the World Series, please.
You can't do both.
What's your record?
For us White Sox, I don't care.
What are your records?
Huh?
What do you got?
I mean, I got a lot of them, but we're not going to dig into
all of them.
Yeah, pretty much, except for home runs. Carlton Fisk hasn't been home runs.
Okay.
A lot of the other ones.
He was pretty good, Fisk.
He was all right. He's in the Hall of Fame. But listen, win the World, please. As a White Sox fan, please try to just win. Just get to the playoffs, please. I'm begging you. Because after what I've had to endure for the last 2 years from these two fools and from everyone on the outside, especially Cub fans, you don't understand the Cub-White Sox rivalry yet until you get into the Chicago and you're playing and you'll see what the people are like. But please, just win games so that I don't have to hear it from everybody. And, your White Sox suck. Oh, well, now we got Kyle Teel. We're going. We go now.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm in. I'm in. I'm all in.
Hey, Kyle, do you have any questions, especially for AJ, about what it was like to wear that uniform and catching questions in general for these two catcher nerds? Like, is there anything that, you're trying to work on or wondering that you would ask veteran catchers about when you're at spring training?
Yeah, I mean, I can go. I have questions when it comes to catching for sure. I've just started to implement the right knee down stance, and I would love to know, when do you use the right knee down stance primarily? I feel like the time to use it, runner on first base, just because it allows you to throw the ball better. So I mean, I want to hear from you. When did you use it the most?
You're asking the wrong guy. We ain't have their knee down when I played.
You guys are old
if I would
then.
call it with a knee down, my catching coach, especially when I first came up, Rick Stelmazik, we weren't allowed to wear Oakleys on the field. We weren't allowed to wear all kinds of stuff.
Oh, wow.
There were knee savers. Knee savers, they were like, you can't wear knee savers. You're lazy. So, no, I mean, listen, I have a son that catches now, and I agree with you. The runner on first, the right knee down is probably the way to go. But the problem you run into a lot of times, what I've noticed from not only watching it, but watching big league games a lot of times, is if you have a guy on first, it's probably not going to steal, and then you have a righty that throws that, that wicked slider. Sometimes you get caught with your right knee up. So that would be also, so you can slide better. I mean, it's just Kratz knows more about this than I do, but like to me, it was more of like being able to get outside the yank fastball or the yank slider with a knee down. Can I move enough, or do I need to switch it? Because the hardest pitch for me to catch was a lefty that threw it to my glove side, right where the slider down and in. So now I think with my left knee down to him, I think it depends on what side you're better on too. But I'll let Kratz talk because he's way more into this stuff than I am.
No, I mean, I think it's something that they started implementing it towards the end of my career. 2020 was my last season. To me, all I got to say, if you don't like it, tell them to piss off. All they're looking for is strikes. There's ways of getting strikes without you being one knee down. The reason the whole one knee down stuff started, and it's good for some people, it's not good for others. Like watch Kyle Higashioka. Kyle Higashioka has the loosest flexibility, and he can get low below the ball. That's all you're looking for. If you can figure out a way to get yourself in the best position to throw the guy out at second and block it, right knee, left knee, no knees, stand on your head. Because it's a big now you're a big league player. Before it's like, well, you want to make sure you develop and all this stuff. When you're in the big leagues, it's about this. It's about that W. Yep. How you get that W is all that matters. So to me, try it all, but tell them to piss off if you don't like one of them.
Gotcha. Thank you. I like that advice.
Who is the catching coach now at the White Sox?
Drew Butera.
No. In the minor leagues, though. I know Drew
Butera's there at the big leagues?
Drew's been there. Yeah, he's in the last couple of years.
That's cool.
Who's the catching coordinator? I don't even know.
Kyle literally just got traded. Look it up. All right, can I go? I got a fun one. You go last. I got one more for you, Kyle. So I've read about this. I've also heard about this from some in the Red Sox org. You are a DJ, so I'd like to know more about how you fell in love with kind of running the music for your boys and what kind of music you're running out there. Because did I find you on SoundCloud? Is that really you, or is that someone else? Are those your lists?
Yeah, that's probably me.
Nice. Okay.
I'm on SoundCloud. I'm a big SoundCloud guy. It's funny, like the tabs on my above you guys right now, it's SoundCloud and SoundCloud. I love SoundCloud. So
yeah, because I can see your playlists are on there. So those are the ones you're playing in the clubhouse. Like I see, it's a nice blend. I got some Fisher in here. Hold on, let me go back to it. I lost it for a sec. Right, San Holo, James Hype.
Are you gonna feel comfortable enough to play your music in the clubhouse in the big leagues?
Oh yeah, I mean I love that. I mean we throwback Thursdays, like whatever you want, like I got everything. So I fell in love with music at a young age, and DJing has been something that's been more recent. It's been the past, like I'd say 3 years ago, I taught myself. I was in the Netherlands with the collegiate national team in college, and I taught myself over there. Just after the games would end, we'd have a lot of free time, so we would do that, and I would just hang out and DJ. And then as I got better and better, it became like a clubhouse thing in college, and then I brought it to pro ball after wins, and it's just something I enjoy. So
he's got a lot, like they're labeled
That's
nicely,
cool.
like A1, chill dope.
Just don't do it your first day.
So a lot of them are from like high school, like, or even middle school, like chill dope. That's a middle school playlist I made. So
that's what Scott does when he's not here. Chill dope.
No, it's good. I see it. Yeah, right. I can see how your evolution, of your tastes change too. The high school stuff or the middle school stuff's not bad. It's a little more of like your poppy electronic. Yeah. And then you got like a little more flavor to it, a little more seasoned, like a Fred Again popping up here, RL Grime. I like this. Most people have no idea what we're talking about, but
including Kratz and
respect, Kyle. Yeah. Respect.
Including Kratz and I. Mm-hmm. Kyle, I'll just say this: don't jump on the music the first day, okay? Just give it a little bit of time.
Second day.
Don't give it a little bit of time. Let people find out about you, and then because normally the starting pitchers control the music. Now after the game is a little bit different, but the starting pitchers usually control the music in the clubhouse. Now you went to University of Virginia. Tell me about Brian O'Connor. Tell me about what he would say if you went to him like Kratz said. He's like, I want you to catch one knee down. You're like, screw you, coach. I'm doing it how I want. Go.
So with Oak, right? Like when I was at school, it was kind of like they wanted me on 2 feet for a while, and then as time went on, it was more like I was like, I'm going to show you I can do the 1 knee down. I like the 1 knee down a lot more than the 2 feet. I'm just more flexible from a 1 knee down position, and I block better. So it was kind of the opposite of what you're saying. It was less about like I want to be at 2 feet. It was more like I want to be on 1 knee.
Okay, and he listened to what you said. That's a good coach.
Yeah,
That's a good coach.
and I'm really grateful he let me do it eventually because it's helped me a lot through my career so far.
Well, Kyle, you're off the hot seat. This was really fun, dude. Good getting to know you. Appreciate the time. Congrats on, obviously, it's tough to leave the boys, but the opportunity ahead. Big market. Fan base is awesome. Obviously, AJ's always here if you need anything. So just look back at some Pierzynski highlights.
Don't do that.
That's your motivation.
Don't do that. Kyle, don't do that. Please do not do that.
No, it's super entertaining.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, thanks
Some
for the
of
time,
it might not
man.
be true. Some of it might be true.
A lot of it's true. Thanks, Kyle.
You guys,
go White Sox.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you. Kyle Teel, future White Sox. Top.
See? So is it sock or socks?
Everyone help us in the chat.
Future White Sox or future
He's
White
a future
Sox?
White Sox player, or is he a future White Sox player? No, White Sox.
See?
I think it's tomato.
But it's one.
Tomato.
You're only one White Sox.
It's tomato. Sock.
Yeah, but the White Sox.
I was never known for my grammar. Ronald in the chat. Is there a chance that Roki goes to the White Sox? Allegedly, he wasn't interested in all, but then added the White Sox to his potential teams after a presentation from Chris Getz. What did he present him with? $100 million?
Who? I didn't hear you. Sorry, I was reading the chat.
The question from the chat was if there's really any legitimacy to Roki Sazaki's White Sox interest.
Yeah, there is. Tadahito Iguchi.
He's the recruiter?
He was his manager in Japan. He played for the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
We won a World Series together, so he knows how good it can be there.
Do you really think that he's helping to recruit?
I don't know. Sounds good, though, on paper.
Right. Okay, cool. Good question.
That is a good question.
No
by the way, really, there's no way, Kratz, that he hasn't been invited to big league camp yet? Like, what are we doing?
What do you mean?
What are we doing?
That happens in January, usually.
Right.
Oh, they usually tell guys before January.
As soon as he gets traded, they call him and say, hey, we'll see you in big league camp?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Should have.
I would hope they do it that way. What are they going to be like? Hey, we'll see you in March on field 7? Like, no, get this guy in big league camp, get him ready for the big leagues, and get him closer to get on the big league field. I mean, I don't know. What do I know?
All right. We got 1 minute till we're back for the TV crowd. Paige wants to know, how many games did you get thrown out of?
Me?
Yeah.
10.
10 in the bigs? That's a nice, clean number.
I think it was 10.
That's
Pretty
less
sure it was
than 1
10.
per season.
No, way less than that.
Yeah.
I made it till like my 6th year before I got thrown out.
That was the first time? You didn't get thrown out for that much time?
I got kicked out after a game, but it didn't count.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Yeah. I love when the pitchers get kicked out where it's like
Whether
Scherzer's
leaving the
barking.
field?
No, he's not even pitching, or that, or like when, someone's barking from the dugout and they get kicked out. Like, what are you accomplishing here? You get $1,000 to the league's charity or something because they get fined?
Tim Cheetah threw me out after a game.
After? Yeah.
He told Gardy, I was with the Twins, he told Gardy if I stepped foot on the field to warm up the pitcher or anything, I was automatically ejected the next day.
Ooh.
So I knew I had the day off.
Wow.
That was fine.
Kicked out of a game when the game's done. Mind blown.
You gone.
You gone.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Now we've got fresh comments from Commissioner Rob Manfred. So a couple things that he covered that stood out. One is no innings pitched requirements for starting pitchers in games. They're not going to make rule changes like that. Okay. He thinks incentives to develop certain types of pitchers could work well, but not in the game. Also, he was talking about the transaction rules, like the Erik Kratz minor league shuttle, and didn't sound like he was too big of a fan of how that works and how you can take advantage of pitchers that way. So let's start there. What I took from all this was, number one, rules within game not changing. Number two, maybe incentives. I don't know what it is. Hey, this guy, if you get a player to go, I don't know, 200 innings in a season, you get a comp draft pick, or I don't know, something like that. And then number three, maybe they try and limit the way the option system works, because there are certain teams that just use it
Dodgers,
and abuse it. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you can do this without starting it with the development and developing guys to be pitch for longer, because they're not developed that way. The way Rob Manfred's talking about this, he made the minor leagues 1 game a week, where pitchers pitch 1 game a week. They pitch 6 days. They play 6-game series. They get Sundays off. I think Monday, was it Sunday or Monday, Kratz? Sundays? Monday's off. Monday. And then they have a Tuesday guy. It's like Japan, a Tuesday guy, a Wednesday guy, a Thursday guy, a Friday guys. So the guys don't learn to pitch every 5th day. So he made this, and now he wants to change it. I don't understand. Like, he made it to where they weren't developed like this. You can't have a guy pitch every 5th day. You can't, because then you might face the same team twice in a series.
Well, they could do it still,
but teams
don't do it.
Because it got to go back to development. It's got to go back to, and you're like, what you said about incentivize the team to pitch 200 innings. What if I'm a free agent, I get to 199 and 2/3, and I know I'm leaving that team, or I get pissed at the team, and I'm like, no, I'm good for the year, and then they lose a draft pick. Like, there's so many things. What you need to do is incentivize it starting in the minor leagues and work its way up to the big leagues, and incentivize innings pitched instead of strikeouts and some of the velocity and things that are getting people paid now. You want to incentivize it? Make it to how they get paid. It's like strikeouts as a hitter. You want to get rid of strikeouts in baseball? Make them matter when guys get paid. If they don't matter, guys are going to continue to strike out.
Need money motivation. Kratz, do you agree?
Oh, 100% agree. 100% agree. And the other part about options, doesn't matter. They already changed it. They tried to reduce the amount of times that they want option. And this is where I'll kick back at the Players Association. They don't get it. They don't get it enough. They started listening, but they don't get it, because a lot of guys that are making those decisions, a lot of guys that are on the executive board or the ones that are like the head of the union, never had to deal with options. They never had to be, I'm trying to think of somebody, Lewis Head, who gets optioned 7 different times by 3 different teams in one season. Like, it's a rare thing, but it's a really rare thing that the good players ever get optioned. So the guys who are making these decisions don't really care, and the teams love it. The teams love it. This is why the teams like the Rays, all the teams that really use this option stuff up, it hurts the player, helps the team a ton.
My thing is he's been talking to somebody in television. Manfred, Commissioner Manfred.
Well, that's always what they do.
Because when we'll use Fox. I work for Fox, right? Mm-hmm. When they go and they say it's Game 5 of the World Series and it's opener versus opener, or it's Kershaw versus Scherzer. People are going to want to see Kershaw versus Scherzer. They don't want to see opener versus opener for 1 inning and then boom. So this is a TV-driven thing that he's talking about here, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I get it, because trust me, as a broadcaster, the first thing I look at when I have a game, who's starting. That's the first thing we know we can talk about. And as soon as I see it's an opener as a broadcaster, I go, oh, man, it's going to be a long day, because there's going to be 8 pitchers that I got to learn. When you have a starter and you catch the good matchup, I remember in the day we got Sale Verlander. You were like, jackpot, I got something I can talk about for 5 or 6 innings, right? And then the next week you get, Ryan Stanek. I'm using him just because he was the original opener. He's not a good pitcher, but he was the original opener versus, what did the Brewers use your Wade Miley for a hitter or whatever, and they brought in Woodruff? Like, you're like, oh, man. Like,
look what the Dodgers did. They won the World Series, but there was bullpen games mixed throughout where early action, you've got Ben Kasparius. I don't know if he started or if he was the second guy in. Kopech started a game, right? Did Kopech start a game? Yeah, he did. He started a game. So, yeah, they're trying to get rid of that. They want the big matchups. And, again, not that Kopech's not a good pitcher. He actually was great with the Dodgers. You want to follow a guy for as many innings as possible and see what he does. And they're not going to go 8 or 9 anymore. But, yeah, the marketing is a problem. When you comp us. Right, you comp. I know that, but teams aren't going to care. That's not their job. The front office's job is to win as many games as possible. The league's job.
And they want to keep salaries down. How do you keep salaries down? Ask Ryan Stanek. We asked him on this show. Did it hurt you being an opener? Absolutely. Why? Because I had starts, but I didn't go deep. But then I couldn't get holds. I couldn't get saves. So they were like, what are you? You're a starter, but you pitch 1 inning. Oh, well, as the arbitrator doesn't know what that means. So you're sitting in the arbitration room. The arbitrator's like, this guy must not be any good. He went 1 inning per start.
The arbitrators are stupid.
Well, that's not their job. They're not baseball people. They're arbitrators.
I know.
I can't argue. I'm 1-0 in arbitration. My arbitrators are smart.
Yeah, love you. All right.
Love you.
Wait, I want to show a current player perspective because we put out the quote yesterday about Manfred saying for the minimum innings rule, it's just too blunt an instrument to fix this problem. And there's a quote tweet from Kevin Gossman. He said, "Don't believe a word this man says. Get ready for 6 innings. You get to keep the DH. If not, a fan hits in their spot."
I mean, it's kind of funny.
That's epic.
That's funny.
Good job, Gossman. Wow.
That's coming from a starting pitcher, too.
Prominent starter, super nice guy, well-spoken, and he's like, beat it. Enough. That's good.
I'd love to see a fan in there. I would love.
Kevin's not the problem. Yeah. You need more Gossmans. I mean, he's had some pretty good length in his starts during his prime.
It's no pitcher. No pitcher is going to sit here and say, man, you know what? If I go 7 innings with 3 strikeouts, the Oregon is going to still pay me. If I go 5 innings with 8 strikeouts, I'm going to get absolutely broke off. Nobody's like, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to give this free agent as big a contract because he's just not an innings eater. The whole Dodgers staff, like, nobody eats innings. They punch dudes out, pass it along. Until that changes, pitchers should not change. They should not be innings eaters. Unless, in my opinion, it would keep them healthier if they threw more innings. I know it sounds weird, but they would be healthier because it wouldn't just be balls to the wall for the first 5 innings and then we'll see you.
Okay, let's get to the next part with Manfred. He said deferred contracts can become problematic. But here, I'll give you the option. You want to either talk about that, I feel like we talked about that a lot, or he talked about arm injuries and the research that their staff's been doing and how he said the doctors are still pointing to the velocity and the spin as the main issue.
Yeah, because what Kratz said, every pitch is max effort.
Yeah.
There is no, I'm going to save myself until the 6th inning, the 5th inning, whatever, and then I'm going to, Verlander was like the poster child for this. He'd be a 93, 94, and then he'd get to the 5th or 6th inning, and he had 97, 98 in the tank. But guys now are every pitch, from the first pitch of the game, it is like, oh, fastball, strike 1, breaking ball, split, nasty slider, boom, 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 everything I got. Whereas before it was like, all right, can I get through the lineup one time just spotting fastballs down and away, up and in, boom, moving it around, maybe throw a breaking ball if I get into trouble. Whereas now it's like second pitch. Watch baseball games. They get a strike first pitch. They might not even get a strike first pitch. Second pitch is a ripped breaking ball. That's where the injury.
But they're saying that's working. So it's hard
it's working, but it's also breaking guys.
Right.
That's the problem.
For guys.
Organizations value that, but it's breaking guys. So you have to kind of.
I'll tell you what organizations say. I'll take the quality all day. Right? I want a 10 out of 10 from everybody. And even if half those players fall off, I'll just replace them.
This is why I like Max Fried. This is why I think the Max Fried signing is better than people think. Because he doesn't just rip at it. He's not a soft tosser. My guy will pump 97, 98 up there. But he's able to use pitches that, in my opinion, are saving some of his bullets. That curveball, and I get it, not everybody has a curveball. They can backdoor for a strike and then they can bounce it. But he doesn't have to go out there and just rip pitches at 100%, effort, 100% conviction in the pitch. But he's able to mitigate and work his way through lineups to be able to get to pitches he hasn't even shown guys in locations he hasn't shown guys until there's runners in scoring position, until he sees them a 3rd or 4th time through the order. And that's how you pitch. And that has to be an organizational philosophy change.
Okay. I don't know how to fix that, but we'll take ideas, and so will the commissioner's office because they're still searching. Ken Rosenthal, Inside Scoop. Next, let's dive into Corbin Burns sighting, Pete Alonso, and the rest of the clubs that still have a lot of work to do. All right, we're back. So I have one question from a fan yesterday that I said I'd get to today, and then also a question of the day that's on Instagram. Let's do that one first. How would the best minor league team do against the worst major league team in a 7-game series? We put this on our Instagram story and got an answer from AJ. Follow us on other social media accounts if you like us and want to support us for free. But what did you say, AJ? And then Kratz, you can follow.
I said the big league team would beat them. They should beat them. They won't beat them every time. There would be a
score
fluke
in the
here and
series?
there. Huh?
What would be the score in the series?
They should win in 5 games.
Okay,
I would
4-1.
think. Just because of maturity, depth, all of the above, confidence. There's just more to being a big leaguer. Even the White Sox, who lost 121 games, if they played whoever the best AAA team was, they should win. They should still win that series.
Okay. The
now,
Orioles team.
Now, could they lose?
Mayo, Holiday, Povich,
okay,
all those
but
guys.
how have those guys done in the big leagues?
It takes some time.
Okay, exactly. Yeah. So that to me. Now, listen, I played on minor league teams that played the big league teams, and we beat them every once in a while. I also was on the big league teams that lost to the minor league teams, but we also didn't really care. It was a spring training, and we probably weren't very
spring training's tough.
You're like engaged, into the game.
Yeah,
and plus you also as a big league you play like 2 innings, and they put in double A or single A guys anyway. So
I'm talking about a 7-game series.
7-game series where both teams are full bore.
$10 million on the line.
The big leaguers would win 99 out of 100 in probably 5 or less. Six or less
in a
sure.
5-gamer or less. Okay.
They would win the series. You see it all the time in the playoffs. The best teams in the big leagues versus second or third best teams in the big leagues. A series, you're going to be able to exploit the underbelly of the AAA team. I spent a lot of time with some really good AAA teams, had some really good players. Everyone's going to say, oh, well, this team, Renaissance, they had these guys. You just exploit them. They're not getting a hit off of Garrett Crochet enough to beat them. The bullpen is much deeper. To me, it's the depth. Lou Bob is going to annihilate whatever third and fourth pitcher the AAA team is throwing out there, let alone the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th bullpen guy on that AAA team. Just saying. That's where they're going to exploit them.
Especially now, too, also with the shrinkage of the minor leagues. There's not as many players, and there's not as much depth in even the great minor league teams. So, listen, I played on one of the all-time great minor league teams in 2000 where we just could rake, and we couldn't have hung with it because we didn't have enough. We just didn't have enough.
Mm-hmm. Great question from intern Jake. Inside Scoop time with FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. Ken, we'll start with the Orioles and Corbin Burnes. I'll combine the question because yesterday I'm like, oh, the Orioles signed someone. It's not Corbin Burnes. It actually doesn't seem like they're the front runners, but what do you think of their Sugano signing and what's next for them?
I like the signing. Certainly this guy is one of the most accomplished pitchers in Japanese baseball history. He has won awards over there. He's had a great run, great ERA last year. So for 1 year, $13 million, I know he's older, 35 years old, but my goodness, they entered the offseason looking for 2 starters. They wanted 2. The first one would be ideally a top of the rotation guy, a front of the rotation guy, 1, 2, or 3. The second one, the way it was explained to me, was more of an upside play, someone maybe off the radar a little bit. Well, that's Sugano. And it seems to me that this only can be a prelude to a bigger move. Now, it doesn't have to be Burnes. It could be a trade for Cease, for Castillo, for anyone else that is out there. But at the same time, at least this gives them something, and now they still have to make the bigger move. I like sort of what they've done so far. Tyler O'Neill, decent signing if he stays healthy. Gary Sanchez, the same. Sugano, okay. But at the same time, you have to get that front of the rotation guy, in my opinion. They need that. I know they have the possibility of Bradish and Wells coming back in the second half. You can't count on that. You've got to get someone to go with Eflin and Grayson Rodriguez and go from there.
When we look at that list of the pitchers that are still available, are you looking at the Orioles as, okay, this pitcher's $150 million that's out of their range, or is it years that you feel like, in your opinion, Mike Elias is afraid to go too many years for any starting pitcher?
First of all, I don't know what their range is under their new ownership. It's impossible to say. They have taken over and they haven't done anything big yet. They haven't shown any hesitation on certain players like Tyler O'Neill, but at the same time, they have not gone here. Now, maybe they'll never go to that level, and this is still a small market team by baseball's definition. It's still a team that probably shouldn't be spending $250 million on Corbin Burnes based on their revenues, unless the owner decides he wants to do a little Steve Cohen. So I don't expect them to do Burnes, and I don't know that Mike Elias would advise them doing Burnes as he tries to manage the payroll, but there are other ways to go. Look at Cease, for example. Last offseason, they traded for Corbin Burnes. They traded Joey Ortiz, who looks like he's going to be a really good player, and DL Hall, who still has a chance to be a good pitcher, as well as the 34th pick. They still have enough to take a similar shot at Cease. It's a one-year thing, just like it was with Burnes, but they have players that they're not going to be able to play in the major leagues. There's too many of them, position prospects in particular. So I can see them going that route, and that would be okay. But as far as what the problem is with regard to the free agent market, I'm not exactly sure. Years, dollars, it doesn't really matter, Eric. Look at Max Fried's deal. The dollars are really high. The years are really high, but they're essentially giving him, in my opinion, that $218 million. That's for 6 years. It's like 30-something million AAV, but they stretch it to 8 to get the AAV down to 27.5 for luxury tax purposes. So it's how you calculate it. It doesn't really matter. Again, until we see the Orioles do something big, we won't know if their ownership is willing to go to that length.
Yeah, that's a smart move by the Yankees. Obviously, it helps them in the short term to stay under or stay, on a lower tier with that number. By the way, I just want to point out really quickly, I like how you use the term, like, if he just wants to go Steve Cohen, like, you're going to get people being like, yo, you want to go out to dinner tonight? You want Steve Cohen it, like big steakhouse? That's cool. He's got that reputation right now. Anyway, one more follow-up for you on the Orioles, Ken. So in your notes column, you wrote about a chance that they could trade for someone like Dylan Cease for a season, which they did last year with Corbin Burnes. I like that. I still have a hard time believing the Padres really want to shed Dylan Cease. I get the trade market. Here's the problem I have. I thought the Orioles are worried about losing, a comp pick and their prospect hugging, but then they're still going to do these trades for 1-year rentals. Like, where are we here? That sounds like they're saying both things. So they really just, what is the plan?
Keep in mind, if you trade for Dylan Cease, you can do the same thing you did with Corbin Burnes, make him a qualifying offer. So if you trade a pick, you get the pick back. And that's what they did with Burnes, right? If he signs somewhere else, then they're going to get a pick in the 30s. They lost a pick in the 30s when they made that trade. So that part of it, from their perspective, it's okay. The question of prospect hugging, it's always a fair question with a team like this that is loaded with prospects. It's a fair question with the Red Sox, and it was a fair question. And then they made the move for Crochet, which reduced their depth somewhat in their farm system. Obviously, the Orioles know that their window lasts only so long. Gunnar Henderson, 4 more years of control. Now, that's not tomorrow that he's going away, but his salary is going to rise. And at some point, if you can't sign him to an extension, and they probably won't be able to sign him to an extension because he's represented by Scott Boras, then you have to think about moving him. So they do have some urgency about them. At least they should. And if it takes Cease rather than a long-term deal for a Corbin Burnes, all right, that's the way they go. But the way I see it, Scott, they've got to get one more. They've got to get one more guy at the top, not in the middle, at the top. 1, 2, or 3, that's fine. But it has to be someone that really can fit into that slot.
Okay, Ken, you Dylan Cease, great. But you hear Cubs are going after Jesus Luzardo. Why are the Orioles not in on him? Why are the Orioles not making the trade for Garrett Crochet like the Red Sox did? Like, I get it, but at some point, Mike Elias is going to have to get off his prospects and send some away to get something in return. Now, I know he did it for Corbin Burnes, but these guys have more than 1 year of control. So these are the guys you would think the Orioles would be like they traded for Zach Eflin. Great, because he had an extra year. But boom, I mean, you hear Luzardo to the Cubs, which you can dig in after, and you hear of some of these other guys, Crochet going. But why are they not using their prospects to Luis Castillo in Seattle? Guys like this that seem to be available that they seem like they could go get and overbid for whatever, overpay maybe to get the guys with multiple years.
AJ, all fair questions. And I could construct a deal with their prospects similar to the deal that the Red Sox made for Crochet. They have enough to do it. They had enough to do it. Luzardo is a little bit different. He's a guy who's been hurt a lot. He's pitched over 100 innings only once in his career. He's coming off an injury. I don't know that would be the guy I go for. He's going to cost less than Crochet would, obviously. But a Castillo, a Crochet, yes, in my view, they should be in play for those guys. And yes, you're right. You want the greater control rather than the 1 year of control with Cease. It's rolling the dice the same way you did with Burns. And same agent, Scott Boras, he's going to go to the market, Dylan Cease is, and you're probably not going to be able to pay him. So I agree with you that this is the kind of move, the longer term play for in a trade that they should be looking at. Why they haven't done it, I'm not exactly sure.
Ken, what do you think about the Luzardo talks with the Cubs? Some fans asking about it right now. And then there was a follow-up saying, what would the Cubs do with all those lefty starters? The fan said 3. Actually, it would be 4 if you add Luzardo to the mix. But does that matter?
It does matter, but they're all different too. Imanaga is different from Steele, who is different from Boyd, who would be different from Luzardo. Luzardo's a big stuff guy, and it seems to me that they would figure it out. They still would have Jameson Taillon. They still would have Javier Assad. And keep in mind, Imanaga pitched on the normal 4 days rest only 7 of his 29 starts last year, something like that. It was a relatively small percentage. Then you have Boyd. He's been hurt a lot. He's probably going to need some downtime. So the more starters you mix in there, they might not all be active at once. They might not be all pitching at the same time. So if they can get Jesus Luzardo at what they deem a reasonable price at a time where they're trying to win this division, they just made a win now move with Kyle Tucker. Sure, I get that. And I'd still like to see them supplement their bullpen, but maybe they move Assad back into that role. He was good in it 2 years ago. I'm not sure exactly what their thinking is, and I guess Erik and AJ would be better equipped to say 4 lefties in a rotation. Hey, that could be a problem for most teams being predominantly right-handed, but at the same time, I'm not sure you'd see all those 4 lefties pitching in one rotation. One might be on the IL at one point, one might need extra break or extra rest. All kinds of things can happen.
All right, I'm going to stay in NL Central. We've heard the rumors that Jared Jones is possibly up. We had a question from Daniel Rothenberg. Could the Orioles trade Kobe Mayo for an upside Pirates pitcher like Jared Jones or Bubba Chandler? And if they do something like that, this is my part of the question, is this a Ben Cherington thing where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm never going to get money from ownership. I have to think way outside the box and trade pitchers when no one else would trade them because I have extreme value for them.
Great question. And I don't think the answer is yes, because I think they've worked hard to build up their pitching. And they just traded one in the Andres Jimenez, Spencer Horwitz 3-team deal. They traded Luis Ortiz. So they reduced their depth with that move. And to do it with Jones, if you can get Kobe Mayo, I would imagine probably you could. I don't know exactly if it would be straight up. But if you could do that, if you're the Pirates, you need offense, you need first base offense, I would strongly consider it. But at the same time, I understand that the bigger problem for the Pirates, when you look at spending money on players, is who are the most expensive players? Starting pitchers. And they can't afford them. So to develop them in a way that they have, and they've done a good job with this, no question. Drafting 1-1 with Skeens helped. But you want to retain that strength. And it seems to me the trade of Ortiz probably reduced the chances of them trading Jared Jones.
Ken, are the things we hear about Nolan Arenado, is that the teams that he'll waive his no-trade clause? Do we know that, or is that just rumors? I mean, and what's the most likely? I know he'd love to be on the West Coast. He's from there. But you hear about Houston. You hear about some of these other teams. Would he really go to Anaheim?
I don't know that he would go to Anaheim. Nolan Arenado has talked his whole career about wanting to win. He wanted to trade from Colorado to St. Louis because he wants to win. So now he's going to go to Anaheim? I don't see that happening. We don't know the exact teams, AJ. We don't know exactly where he wants to go. I'm sure it's a select, relatively small group. The Dodgers, from what we understand, that would be a dream for him, but it's not available to him. They've got Max Muncy, and they consider themselves fine in that regard. So It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out because this is not the Nolan Arenado of 3 or 4 years ago. It's a different player. It's a player who appears to be in decline and who might not be in as much demand, especially when Alex Bregman is still available, as you might think. So, again, I can't predict how he is going to kind of direct this, but keep in mind, he does have the ability to direct it. When a player has a full no trade protection like Arenado does, he effectively can choose his next team. So if the Cardinals say, hey, Nolan, we want to send you to Team X, and he's like, I don't want to go there, they have to keep going. They have to go to Team Y. And if he doesn't like Team Y, you got to go to Team Z. That's the power of a player having a no trade, and that's the position that Arenado is in. Unless
you're the Padres and Phil Nevin when they tried to trade him and he said no. And they're like, oh, Phil, you're catching, which they did to him. And he caught one game. He's like, okay, trade me. That was it. So unless maybe the Cardinals are like, Wilson Contreras, you're playing DH in first base. Nolan, you're going to catch a game. Okay, I'll go wherever you guys want to send me. Thank you.
That's rude.
Well, the other thing is, if there is leverage both ways. If you're the Cardinals, you can say, Nolan, you say you want to win. We're not really going to win this year. If you want to go somewhere, this is where we have a spot for you. This is where we can make a trade. The teams you want to go to, they're not saying yes to you. So, yes, the Cardinals certainly can apply their own form of leverage. I don't know that they would try to make Nolan Arenado a catcher, but they can do some other things.
All right, I'll finish with this one for you, Ken. Just crowdsourcing some questions from fans.
Get down to Ken's level, Scott.
Well, it's the hair is the problem. So I got 2 names for you, Ken.
You can't tell how
Alec
short
Bohm.
I am on camera, AJ.
Exactly. AJ.
I didn't say that. You said it. I just said he was above you. I was trying to get him on your level. You brought it up.
I appreciate it.
This is the last time you'll have AJ before he goes on vacation. So I think he's like kind of cooking up what he's got for you at the finish line. Exactly. Say goodbye to AJ for 2024. All right. Let me finish with 2 names. Alec Bohm, Framber Valdez. Just wanted to know your take on if either will be dealt, if both will be dealt at some point over the next couple months.
Valdez is really interesting because now that they've traded Tucker, at least why not continuing to listen on Valdez? Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to keep their pitching strong. One thing about the Astros, and we saw this in the return for Tucker, they're intent on competing in 2025. That's why they got Isaac Paredes in that deal along with Hayden Wesneski. At the same time, in this pitching market, once you see Burns sign and once Manaea goes off the board and a couple of others, if I'm the Astros, I'm at least listening. Maybe you get 2 young starters for Framber Valdez. It's only 1 year. I get it. But it's something that I would entertain. I don't know that they will. Again, they want to keep their team as strong as possible for 25, given that they might lose Bregman and they on top of Tucker. And if you do that, then maybe you have to go more to a run prevention model. But if I were them, again, I would at least entertain the idea, see what I can get for Framber Valdez. Alec Bohm, the Phillies clearly want to trade him. They clearly have not been successful in their attempts so far. I would expect he will not be on the Phillies by the start of the season. I don't know where he's going. Could he go to Seattle in some kind of expanded package for Castillo? That would seem to make sense. It wouldn't be 1-for-1. There would have to be other pieces going back and forth. But Seattle needs offense. He is an offensive player. So perhaps that's something that can ultimately transpire. I don't know. I'm just guessing there. But it seems to me that at some point the Phillies are going to do something. Their fans are getting impatient. I understand that. But Dave Dombrowski is not the type to end the season the way they did and then come back with the same team the next year or effectively the same team. That's not happening. So it's just a matter of which course they take.
Yeah, I've got the Phillies as a January mover and shaker where the trade offers start to change in January. Ken, thank you very much. We'll see you on Fair Territory.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. Ken Rosenthal hosting Fair Territory Thursday with Lana Rizzo. Check the show out live. If you didn't get your question answered, good news. They do Grill and Ken every week on that show. So please fire away. Thursday, 12:30 Eastern, live on YouTube or listen afterward wherever you get your pods. Oh, we got an announcement for you. One more show, and you've got a prop that you didn't even realize is next to you that can tell the story. What's the new show that just picked up today? You're too tall.
I'll go to Ken's level.
Cardinal territory, baby. So there it is. It is brand new. It is available for the world to consume. If you're watching right now on TV in the St. Louis area, obviously we're on the channel that's got all the Cardinals games. Now you've got an extra show to add to the mix. Katie Wu and Trevor Rosenthal. That's a good combo.
It is.
Katie is dialed in, writes for The Athletic, insider, and knows all there is to know about what's going on with the Cardinals right now. And then she hosts along with former Cardinal pitcher Trevor Rosenthal.
Yeah, former teammate of mine. Good guy, Trevor.
Really good guy. Yeah,
Really good
I had a phone call with him the other day. Just super genuine, easygoing, but excited to give his take on what's going on with the St. Louis Cardinals. So make sure you check that out. It's up there now wherever you get your pods. It's also on YouTube too, so check that out later on. And now we can take a quickie break. Back in a couple minutes to talk to Will Benson of the Cincinnati Reds. All right, here we go. I'm checking out questions here. We'll get to one or two during the break. Actually, I'm going to get to my other question here real quick. So Q in the chat yesterday said, World Series hangovers are the lamest excuse in history. You get 4 months off after the World Series. But isn't the problem the pitching usually? Although, actually, with the Rangers, we saw the batters.
It's that you just have so many other things to do with your life. That's what gets you. It's not the pitchers usually come back a little bit down, but there's just so much happening. I mean, you get offered to do this, and you get offered to do this, and you get offered to do that, and it's just a lot.
It's not 4 months. You get November, December, and January. You're back at spring training January 10th. It's 3 months. And what AJ was saying, you're doing so much. You have to think your off season, you're going to take at least 2 weeks off at the end of it. You are exhausted at the end of playoffs, let alone the World Series, let alone 7 games. It's big. Your body feels different after a deep playoff run than it does other seasons.
I think some fans are just like, so you get months off. Isn't that enough time to feel rested and refreshed?
No, it's not.
It's not?
Especially for pitchers, because pitchers have their routine and they're just not used to doing it. Mm-hmm. Right? For an
also,
extra
they're
month.
just
especially
using more bullets. Isn't that the big thing for pitchers?
That's a good point,
That's
Scott.
a month more of
that's what I'm saying.
Using those bullets, starter or reliever, right? You're racking up more starts. If you're a number one starter for a team and you're in some deeper series, you're going how many more starts in the playoffs? 5 or 6?
5.
Yeah.
5?
I mean, I look at in 2005 when we won 11. We won 11-1, right? But our starters, we had 4 starters. They all through the first. We swept the first series, okay, but that's one extra start. Second series, we only had one guy go to, and that was Contreras.
Okay.
But so that's 2 extra starts for everybody, and then one more in the World Series, 3. But they all threw that's 20 extra innings, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when they've already thrown over 200, almost all of them, and then you add another 20, and then you take that month of rest away because a lot of guys start their, November 1st. We kind of lose. I mean, I know, but you lose November because you still want to rest, right? So that's where it starts condensing is you lose that month of November because you play until the end of October, right? So then you need to rest. So then that's why you see some of these teams try to start their starters slower, in the next year in spring training. So it just condenses everything. And plus, like I said, you're offered to go on this show and you get this award and you go to this autograph signing. It's just a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right, Red Slugger Will Benson back on the show with us right now. Will, great to have you on, dude. What?
Wait, are we having a flex off?
Oh,
Will and Scott? Are we having a flex off?
Dude, Will's got me beat.
Oh, Scott,
He better
get
have
things
me
out,
beat.
Scott.
He's a pro.
Scott, show him that tricep.
I like that. Is that the cutoff hoodie?
Yeah, we got for the season. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
There it is.
With some cool gear.
You can model that. You can sell some cutoff hoodies. Will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How's the off season been?
Man, it's been a blessing. Just seeing my family grow and just being around my kids more. So that's been fun. Just training, working hard, having good direction for the upcoming season. So that's also good too.
Hey, well, I remember.
Wait, who's that?
Whoa,
Wait,
whoa.
who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
We
Who dis? New phone.
There you go. No, it's one of the
Who dis?
trainers we got.
nice. Wait, so
I knew
are you at a Reds?
I'm gonna lock the door. Hold on.
Yeah. That's
No,
a good
you
idea.
never know. What if someone we want
like
to talk
the
to walks in?
cameos. Wait, is he at a Reds?
Are you in Goodyear or are you in Cincinnati?
I'm in Arizona. Yeah,
nice.
I'm actually in Arizona. Yeah, a little bit away from Goodyear, but.
Hey, Will, I wanted to ask you because I remember it was either the last time or the time before that we had you on. I think it's the third time. I remember you had a great story that a lot of people connected with on how Joey Votto made a pretty quick impact on your career. Have you spoken to Joey since he retired? Obviously, whether it's just a note, hey, it was great having you as a teammate, but also just curious, like if you've ever been like, yo, dude, can you spend an hour with me and just talk hitting? Because he's missed, right?
Oh yeah. To be honest, I talked to him a little bit about baseball, but we mainly just play chess against each other. That's what we're doing. We just go back and forth playing chess games.
Who wins?
Honestly, I win. I've been winning a lot lately. I'm actually in a crunch against him right now. I'm still ahead in the game. It's a daily game. I'm ahead right now, but he's got a couple moves that could set him up to have a good outcome for himself. But I'll work hard to get that W.
Wow.
Is it one move per day? Is that how?
Yeah. What does that mean? Like you only get country?
Yeah. So on the chess.com app, you can play day game or day matches. So it's you have essentially 3 days to respond, but you can respond as fast or as slow as you want, as long as you respond within 3 days. And for an example, we're playing right now, and we've already played 4 or 5 moves each. So it depends on if you have.
What? Okay, I got to ask you this question because we used to play words with friends a lot in the clubhouse, and one time I ain't saying who it was, but one of our coaches, we caught him cheating. We walked in and he had his iPad and he had the cheat thing on, and we were like, "Oh, he got you." He's like, "No, it wasn't with you guys. It was with my friends that allow me to use this." And I'm like, "You was straight up cheating."
Yes.
Right? So which one of your teammates would be the one if you was playing chess? Now you think, I'm not saying you or Joe, I'm just saying would be the guy that would go online and say, here's the board, and I'm going to use this cheat app code, whatever it is, to figure out my next move.
Funny enough, he's actually gonna laugh, but I bet you Lucas Sims. would do it. One, because of his competitive spirit to win. But two, I just have a feeling he would. He would, yeah.
That's good.
All right, so who's the best on the team? Who's the guy that you're like, I have to get to his level, or is it just you and Joey that are
me.
the elite? Just you?
Yeah, it's me. I set the bar for the people around. Yeah.
So who's the second best on the current team?
I would say. Well, I mean, he's not with us right now or not anymore. Luke Maley was a solid second. TJ Antone was another player who could play some chess. He was good. He actually gave me a run for my money. They like to talk trash, and I kind of got sick of it. So I started charging people to play me. It's like, hey, you're gonna play me $50 a game. That's how I was rolling. So yeah, it was TJ Antone who.
So yeah, it's good little side hustle.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to play the king, you got to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to get some diapers, man. Diapers for my little ones.
That's right. You could tell the little ones one day, hey, your diapers were funded by my chess game.
Yes.
All right, I want to ask you about a new friend and then another friend that's off on a different team in the same question here. So I would say big news for the Reds is 1, adding Terry Francona. So we haven't talked to you since that happened. And then 2, Jonathan India being traded. So I know he meant a lot to the ball club as well. So give me what you got on both those. If you talk to Tito and how much will it hurt also to not have India as part of the team, a part of America's team?
Yeah. Obviously, getting to play for Tito back then was an honor because I got to see, firsthand what what an awesome manager is. When I first came into the league, he demanded excellence, and his presence alone made sure that everybody was on point and we were all playing to the best of our ability. And his ask of his players was very simple: to play hard and play the game the right way, and do everything you possibly can to get a win, to get a win that day. Which again, I think is essential in what we need for the Reds. We need to, identify what we're good at and go out there and do everything we possibly can to win. And having Tito as our leader, I believe, was a great move and a great decision. And I know for sure that he's going to demand excellence out of us. He's going to demand that we're doing everything we possibly can to win that day. And if we fall short of that, he's going to hold us accountable to that, which I'm excited for. I'm very excited, and he has that. He just has that competitive, aura that I love, and I enjoyed that time when I was with Cleveland. And to have him over here with the Reds is going to be an absolute treat, and I know my teammates going to love him. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was going to answer the second.
On India.
Part.
Yeah, on India.
India, I'll say great baseball player, but an even better person. Being able to be his teammate for the past 2 years has truly been a blessing and an honor. I said on another interview, we both entered into that fatherhood around the same time as well. So it was just so just so surreal. You know what I mean? To have such a great teammate. Obviously, what he did on that field was he led by action. The way he played the game, his poise was something that I think a lot of us looked at it and admired about him. Again, he was someone who was going to go out there every night and give it 100, and put his best foot forward. And if he didn't feel his best, he was going to go out there and make sure that he contributed and competed in that game and impacted the game in some form or fashion. So knowing that guy, you obviously you got your dogs in the lineup, and man, he's one of them dogs. He's one of them dogs. He's gonna give you a quality at bat. He's gonna play some solid defense. So it's gonna be greatly missed, and I pray for his growth to continue as he goes on with the Royals in his career, because again, he's been nothing but a blessing and a treat to play with. He will be missed.
You feel like somebody has to step into that role? Obviously, somebody has to play second base. I get that. But that actual role of being that dog. Yeah,
I think what I understand a lot about winning teams is, of course, you have your guy, right? You have your dog, and in some regards we have multiple, and so it's going to be a team first type of thing with that, where it's like you've got dogs 1 through 9. Like, you got a problem that you're gonna have to deal with, and I believe naturally we're gonna see, what comes to be in terms of leadership, and I feel like a strong team in some ways, it's our actions that is the leader, right? It's the hustle, not necessarily that one guy who's rah yapping. That's not necessarily what I believe is needed. It's just a collective effort, a collective group of just beasts, and that's gonna push us forward.
So you played under Tito in Cleveland, 61 plate appearances. Are you afraid when a manager comes back to manage you again, that he's going to have a predetermined idea of you as a player? Or do you think he's somebody that's open to looking at, I've seen how you really shined since you've been over here in Cincinnati, having that breakout year in 23?
Yeah, I mean, I can't control how someone, looks at me, or I can't control how someone will view that, 61 plate appearances. I believe, obviously, Tito has the awareness that obviously I was new to the league at that point in time. So I guess only thing that I can really focus on is when I come to spring training, he sees a player that's ready to compete and give him, just give him a quality player at a point blank period. No other way to say it. Just when I come into spring training, he sees someone who's ready to go out there and dominate the league. It's the past, and now is our greatest gift.
Hey, Will, tell me about your excitement for continued involvement with the Players Trust and how you'll be at the Playmakers Classic in Arizona coming up in February in downtown Phoenix. We've been promoting it, obviously, a big fan of what they do. Saw you out there and, excited to have you continue to be involved, of course. So if you can give more insight on, how you've been involved and also to let fans know how it's really in my mind, one of the few times that you can get involved with, the current players and hang out with them and also talk about, all the money that's going to positive impact around the community.
Yeah, the Players Trust is fueled to pretty much help us players who are in the league to pursue our charitable efforts, outside of the game. And honestly, a lot of our charitable efforts go towards fueling the game, right? So a lot of the things that I've been able to do is help my teammates who are interested in giving back to their communities. I've been able to plug them to the Players Trust, and then they can kind of, navigate, okay, hey, you want to give to this? Well, we can, double your efforts. So it's awesome to be a part of something that, one is dear to my heart, but I know, again, it's going to further impact the game. And so this Playmakers Classic that's out here in Arizona will pretty much be a bunch of us players getting together, being able to network, talk about the things that we want to do outside of the game for our charitable efforts. And then also an opportunity for us to raise funds to go towards the Players Trust. Like I kind of mentioned, the Players Trust is doing a lot of things for us players to help us, do a lot of charity work. And also they're out there doubling, the money that we put down for certain charities that we care about. So it's a blessing and an honor to have something in the Players Association that's really geared towards us and what we want to do with our charities and our giving back efforts.
Talk about giving back. Juan Soto's contract. He'd have a lot of money to give back to the Players Trust.
Oh, yeah,
what's your reaction to the Juan contract?
I'm telling you, man, he could bless a whole state. I feel like more than a state with 10% of what he made. But man, bless you, dog. Happy for you. Happy for you. He's well deserved. Again, it sets the market for us players. So put up some Soto numbers, you can get some bread. So happy for him and happy for the game.
It's good. It's good. All right. I got two quick ones before you go. One, what's your opening move in chess? Army Chow Mein wants to know, is an E4 or a D4 pawn opener?
I'm going to be – I play the London system, so that's, I believe, A, B, C, D. Yeah, D4. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
That means –
Tell him, whoever that is, tell him to add me, Willie Beeman29 on chess.com. Let's get to it.
Okay. They're listening. And that was my next question.
good.
I'm glad you hit on that. Now, your Instagram, and you just said, is Willie Beeman. Do you know where Willie Beeman came from?
Yeah, the movie, the Longest Yard, right?
No, Any Given Sunday. It's Jamie Foxx, Steamin'
Sunday.
Willie Beeman. So
I don't watch
great
movies.
movie.
Don't hold that again. I don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Don't hold it again.
So he was Willie Beeman, and he was called Steamin' Willie Beeman. Now, I played with a guy named Willie Harris, okay? And that was his nickname. So I don't know if you know Willie Harris. So I don't know if he's ever come up to you and said, you stole my nickname, because Willie used to walk around and be like, I'm Willie Beeman. I'm steaming. So I don't know. Next time you see Willie Harris, I'm just saying y'all might have to talk it out.
Okay, I'm willing to have that conversation. That nickname was given to me. I didn't ask for it, but I love it. Again, I'm willing to talk about it. I'll probably walk away.
You're like 6 times as big as Willie Harris, so I feel like you would win if it came to physicality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Willie's faster than you, but you're just a little bit bigger than Willie is. But
you know who Willie Beeman was?
Hey, what's his speed? Did they have that I don't know if they had it.
No, dude, he played before. No, we played before. We won a World Series before there was Statcast. But I know he's working
with the World Series
to win
flex.
a World
Hold
Series.
on. The World Series flex out there. I like that.
Yeah.
Nah, okay.
Yeah,
So
Willie
Devin had
Harris
that.
scored the winning run in a World Series game to win the World Series. So he
Then he can
knows
have
what
a nickname. I'm good. He can take the nickname.
Do you know Will Benson's? I got you. Do you know Will's sprint speed percentile?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's 90
87.
something.
87 from last year. That's pretty good.
87.
That'll play.
That plays.
Yeah, that plays. That's Willie Beeman. That you know who played Willie Beeman in that movie?
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Did you say that already?
I said that.
Oh, I missed that.
That was a good movie. If you're into crazy,
you should watch it.
Yeah, if you're into crazy football movies, it's worth watching.
The problem is
Lawrence Taylor's in it. Shark.
Yeah, the problem is that we're old. Like,
I know.
Well, what year were you born?
98.
See?
So Any Given Sunday came out in 1999.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
Like, this is how I knew I was getting old when I was playing.
Cameron Diaz, Jamie Foxx. There's a lot of good names.
Al Pacino.
Yeah, that's what I said. Al Pacino, Cameron Diaz,
Lawrence Taylor,
Dennis
Quaid was the quarterback.
James Woods.
Yeah,
check it out. It's good.
It's worth
watching. It still plays. It's
about they had like their own football league they made up. Listen, this is how I knew I was old when I was playing. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when I would start looking up at the board, and there was dudes that were born after I had graduated high school. I was like, all right, it might be time. It might be time. It might be time to go home. Okay, because I was like, man, I was drafted, signed already in the minor leagues, and you weren't even born yet. Or I was like, all right, it might be time to go home. Yeah, that was. So when you want to feel old, just remember. Yeah, if you make it to that point, Will,
you played with Votto.
Yeah, you did.
Huh?
Yeah.
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 Votto was what, 40?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Votto.
Yeah. That's what you want. So
yeah.
Will, keep hustling. Enjoy the family time. Check out that movie if you can. So next time you come on, we can talk about it. But appreciate having you on and also giving some love to Players Trust, and we'll see you at the event.
Yes. I'll see y'all there. Blessings.
Thanks, you too. Have a great holiday. Will Benson, Cincinnati Reds slugger and speedster, joining us on FT and telling you about the 3rd annual Playmakers Classic. February 18th. Go check it out. Ton of big leaguers will be there out in Arizona one day. And that's the 18th, of course, after spring training to get their work in. They'll hit up this event for a few hours at night. So go get more information at playerstrust.org. See you in a minute. Devin Williams is on his call with the media, or he just did it. And he said he was surprised that he was traded to the Yankees because he thought he was going to the Dodgers. Ooh, here's the quote. I kind of thought I'd be going to LA. That's what I was being told. The Yankees snuck in there under the table and got the deal done. Oh, we didn't hear about that one.
Mm-mm.
The Dodgers got swiped by the Yankees for Devin Williams. Kratz, I live for this shit. Because I love to see if we get Yankees, Dodgers, you know what I'm saying? It was like last year. I'm like, if Flaherty's pitching against the Yanks and the Dodgers win the World Series, now fast forward, if that's the rematch, which it's highly unlikely we get the same two teams. But if it happened and Devin Williams is shutting the door, we're going to look back and be like, really? You let him beat you? And you wanted the player?
Slipped in there, stole him, stole your date to prom. Just saying, that's a big pickup.
Right? Yeah. I didn't know we had that little battle. I know the Dodgers were interested.
Dodgers in on everybody.
There were reports there. And the Dodgers
wanted
good.
Dodgers like
their bullpen.
Dodgers like the Red Sox. They're in on everybody. Except the Dodgers.
They actually get guys there. Big difference. Yeah. And hey, Red Sox fans are having a moment right now. They got their Garrett Crochet trade edition.
And by the way, I hope Army Chalmaine, she got her answer about the chess.
She did, and has a potential new friend to play against on the chess app.
There you have it.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, I know a lot of Dodger fans are calling for a Tanner Scott signing.
Dodgers could use a bullpen piece.
Yeah.
Shannon's nice, but they still have Phillips. They still have a lot of their guys.
They do. That's still a really good bullpen.
A lot of their guys are there.
Gratterall's good. You just got to keep him on the field. There's a bunch of good arms in that bullpen. Also, if there happens to be a starting pitching surplus, they're going to the bullpen because they actually have quite a few guys that deserve to be in the big leagues who might not have a starting spot in the beginning of the season. And if it's not a guy who has options, he's going to spend some time in the bullpen too. Dustin May comes back. Can we just get Dustin May to the bullpen already? He's barely been on the field. He's super talented. He's got the big orange hair. Just feel like he'd be a monster bullpen piece, and maybe that helps keep him on the field.
Is Gratterall going to be back this year? Because didn't he have the shoulder surgery?
Oh, right. He's missing, half the year? You're right. He did have surgery. Repaired labrum, out for the first half of 2025. So we'll see it in the second half. Hot corner time. Kratz and I were talking about this a while back, and I said, let's save this for a rainy or snowy day or wherever you are. But park factors, according to Statcast, just showing you how the league calculates the best parks for hitters, the worst parks for hitters, the best parks for home run hitters, and the worst parks for home run hitters. So this is data used from 2022 to 2024, which usually gives you a better sample, right? So let's start with home runs, and then we'll go to the overall hitting, okay? Have you guys seen these yet? You haven't? Kratz, have you?
Kratz cheats.
Okay.
I don't cheat.
So give me at least a few of the home run happy ballparks. There aren't a lot of surprises.
Home run happy ballparks? I mean, Great American Small Park's got to be up there.
That's number one from 2022 to 2024. Number two is kind of surprising, honestly. I knew it was more home run happy, but I didn't know it was this home run happy.
Before AJ guesses it, and his mind is spinning, I wonder how much this. I know park adjusted factor, like the dudes that are on the team, the dudes that are pitching, the dudes that are hitting. Like if there's guys, because I know it's out of the whole landscape of the season, but it gets skewed. The better teams in this park can be really, really tiny at certain times of the day.
What Philly's got to be up there?
Yep, that's five.
Coors is too obvious to me.
No, that one's not there.
That's what I'm saying. That's too
not
obvious.
for homers.
KC's definitely not one.
Not a homer.
No.
I mean, you said two is someone I wouldn't. So then that's got to be like a San Diego-ish kind of place.
I mean, in the region, but Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium's two?
Two.
Damn. Most homers?
But look at the dudes they have. That's my thing with
that's true.
It's not
Philly,
most home runs.
Yeah, Philly's five. One is a small park. Got it.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's not just from homers though. This is the Statcast metrics on homer happy ballparks.
Oh.
Number 3 is Yankee Stadium. Number 4, Globe Life.
In Texas?
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that at all.
Really? I never would have thought. I thought that played big.
Right?
Watching the home run derby, watching BP there for the 2 days that we were there, it looked big. It looked like it played big.
Yeah, it looked like it played big.
Yeah,
that was the point.
Big.
You watch that park, even compared to a park that wasn't on that list, but it's top 10. I mean, it's tough to hit home runs in Miami. And I know Judge was Stanton in that one too. Remember that home run derby? What was it? Was it 17?
The one the Judge won, where he hit the roof.
Yeah, the one that Judge won. That one, and also we got to keep in mind, it depends on the year and how they juice the baseballs too.
Yeah.
But I just remember in Miami, I was like, damn, maybe this is a little more homer happy than I thought. But it was the Derby. All right, least homer happy ballparks.
San Francisco's got to be up there.
San Francisco's number 1.
Kansas City.
Kansas City's number 4.
Oakland.
Oakland's number 2.
So
far,
Miami.
You won't get the
Miami's not in the. It's not top 5. Like for
so what about
least
City?
homer happy. City's not top 5 either.
Hardest to hit homers.
I think you'll get one of the other ones, and the other one you probably wouldn't.
Think of really deep gaps. To me, that's what I always look at.
Seattle.
Not Seattle.
No.
Big outfield.
But they're all big. Big outfield.
Big left field.
They're not all big.
Big left field? Baltimore?
No.
I would have said Boston, but the monster makes up for it.
Right. No. So Chase Field's the one I don't think.
Chase Field's a launch. My kid was hitting homers at Chase Field this year. Like getting bombs out of that place.
I don't know. And then this one I felt like you had a chance. Pittsburgh's pretty tough.
Not to right field, it's not.
To left field.
Pittsburgh,
big.
Pittsburgh left
300.
center is big. Big.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your list for least homer happy.
Really, Chase?
Arizona's the shocker,
Chase.
right? Yeah.
God, the ball used to fly out of Chase.
Okay, now for overall.
I think the humidor hurts certain fields. I think it really, especially when they just changed it this year, where everybody has some version of the humidor. Bryce Harper and Alec Bohm, they were talking about it one day randomly about how Atlanta is a launching pad. They love
Atlanta. Atlanta, yeah, that's not in there either.
Not in the top 5. I don't have the whole list in front of me, but what about most? We're going to do 2 more. Most hitter friendly. So overall, just parks that produce offense. Coors is 1.
See, I loved hitting in Kansas City because the outfield was gigantic and you could just hit it anywhere.
Kansas City's 4.
Yeah.
This was what sparked this segment. Was we were talking to Brady Singer, and Kratz and I were texting on the side about Brady going from Kansas City to Cincinnati. And I was like, that's a tougher ballpark to pitch in. But Kratz was like, there's plenty of offense in Kansas City. It's just a different kind of offense, right? You're not getting home runs, but you're getting plenty of knocks because there's a lot of outfield territory to cover. Cincinnati, there's some fly balls you're going to give up and be like, damn, that was routine in Kansas.
Think about the best teams that have played in KC. What are 2 things that they do?
They put the ball in play.
They run it down, and they put the ball in play. So they run down all your hits. Think about 14-15's team. And then this year's team, they put the ball in play. And they could run it down too, but you put the ball in play, you have a better chance to use that expansive space.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Just thinking again about Lorenzo Cain running certain baseballs down out there and making it look easy.
And how about they used to bring in Gerard Dyson and move low to right field to give you an idea of how good the outfield was.
They're super smart. They knew what they were doing. Those World Series champs from back in the day. All right, so you got Coors. You want to guess? And you got Kaufman. I feel like you can
White
get
Sox?
at least. No, not in the top 5. I feel like you can get at least one of the other ones because one of them you already mentioned. It produced a lot of homers.
Great American Small Park.
So they're in there at 3. This one I actually see when you're watching games. Fenway Park is 2.
Fenway, because huge right field, small left field.
Right.
So you can bang balls off the monster that would have been caught. What's the other one?
Target Field.
Oh, I loved hitting
in
at
Minnesota.
Target. God, I loved hitting there.
So much.
Okay, so that plays.
I love the bottom 2 for sure. And I mean, Coors, everyone loves hitting at Coors. But oh man, I was in that division. I was like, oh man, when they put Target Field out there, they were like, Mauer and Morneau were complaining. I'm like, this place is great.
But that's the thing is the AL Central is deceptive because some people will be like, oh, brutal for hitters. You got Kaufman, tough to hit homers there. They'll be like, Minnesota, obviously. Yeah, homers, yes. What was the other one I was thinking of? I mean, Detroit, a lot of
Detroit. Listen, I played in Detroit before they changed it. Now, that was awful.
When they didn't, before they moved
the fences. You all got to understand, before they moved the fences, the bullpen, you had to hit it over the bullpen. The flagpole was in the field. It was ginormous. Right field was different. They moved right field in. They moved left field in. It was unbelievably big. We'd go in there with Torrey Hunter in center, Jock Jones in left. Be like, hit it to center, boys. And they just catch everything.
That was a good advantage for them back in the day. All right, one more. Let's do the most pitcher-friendly ballparks according to Statcast from 2022 to 2024 by their ballpark metrics. Have any ideas?
The best what? Pitcher-friendly?
Most pitcher-friendly.
I mean, again, I'd go San Francisco.
Yep. San Francisco's
I'd go
5.
Oakland too. I'd go Oakland also.
Oakland's not there. You'll know a lot of these. Some of these you brought up already.
The best pitching
City's
staff.
4. Yeah. City's 4. Also, these are the teams that can talk pitchers into signing on these flyer deals. David Stearns is trying to make that a thing with the Mets now. Yeah. So he's got that flowing. The Giants have had that going for a while now.
Seattle
is 1. They can play to that. There's 2 left. And I see the chat very involved too. Miami's not on here. No. Not on the top 5.
Top 5.
I feel like one you won't get. It used to be super pitcher friendly, and now it at least appears more neutral. But on here, it's not.
Houston?
Petco.
Oh, Petco, yeah.
So it's
Petco
still
used
playing.
to be a monster.
I know, but it's still playing pitcher friendly according to
It used to be a
Statcast.
monster, though.
Very pitcher friendly. Yeah, it used to be.
What's the biggest?
It used to be the most pitcher friendly or top 3 for a long time.
Petco.
And it still is. And now it is.
What about
again.
Wiggly?
Wrigley's not on there. This one, I actually think you'll go, okay, I see this.
What's the biggest?
batters,
What's the biggest
I think.
park in the American League East?
Biggest park in the
Toronto.
American League East.
No.
Toughest.
Tampa?
Yeah.
Dude, see,
Some
see
dudes
that's surprising
struggle
me
there.
because like there's a lot of hits in Trop.
In the Trop? Yeah, but some dudes struggle there.
Yeah, true. T-Mobile is Seattle, right? They've all changed their names a million times.
Yes. Yeah, and I don't care. I'm just telling you. Yeah, Seattle, San Diego,
Trop.
St. Pete.
Well, yes. Guess what? R.I.P. Trop. So we don't have to worry about that one. That one's out.
That's true. Now it's
R.I.P.
Tampa.
Trop.
That's good. All right, well.
And Seattle has the crooked batter. It's funny. Now I got to go to the rundown. Now I want to see the list. It's funny. Like I loved hitting in Seattle. I did all right in Petco. Trop didn't bother me. City Field I didn't really do that great because I was facing DeGrom and Syndergaard and all those guys throwing a bazillion at the end of my career. In Oracle, I watched Barry Bonds hit there, so that was very hitter friendly.
That was
but
Barry
a lot of these I
friendly.
loved hitting in. Like Kaufman, oh please, yes. I was like, oh, and that's a lot of times the Royals didn't have very good pitching. I was like,
Right.
yeah,
Just spray baseballs all over the
man.
field.
Left to right, you could hit every
You didn't
line.
strike out.
They were
You didn't strike
gigantic.
out.
Gigantic.
That's the thing is there. Think about it though. In today's game, how many guys? There's just different. I mean, there were back then too, but different flavored hitting profiles. And if you're a big swing and miss guy, true outcome guy, Kaufman is not your friend.
No, that's why they don't. When they win, like Kratz said, they don't have those players.
Right. Good call. All right, that was fun. And also, yeah, it plays into how teams can recruit free agents, right? They can point to boards like this. And obviously the pitchers and the hitters know the deal. But for some guys, it stands out. One last thought here, because I heard some people bring this up. If there's such a problem with a certain ballpark, let's say it's the batter's eye, why don't they just fix it? Like in Seattle, why don't they just make it like one of the other ballparks? I mean, I'm sure that they can adjust it. They don't believe them? Huh.
Maybe they think their hitters are soft. They're like, oh, other teams come in. Other teams don't come in and necessarily hit against the Mariners starting rotation or bullpen in the last few years.
It's their players. If they're picking soft players, pick other players. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, if you're watching this after the fact, I know. then let us know your thoughts on what we just ran through and if there are any parks that you were surprised to see on there or not on there. Be right back, FT fam. BetMGM Orioles win totals from last season, 87.5. Always telling the story here. And then by the time we got to the start of the year, it was 90.5. And do you guys know why?
Corbin Burns.
Correct. Corbin Burns was added to the fold. And this was a good old hook, Kratz. For people that had a tough time with this one, I actually think this total got smashed with overs.
Yes.
And then it ended up getting really close because they were off to a fast start and they played very mediocre for a very long time. But they still won it for you. 91 dubs still counts, but they made you sweat down the finish line.
There's a point where they could have been the best record in baseball. I mean, they were right up there. You know, I think at the time it was the Yankees and someone else, and then the National League and the Phillies were up there. But yeah, they just slowly. It was like just a letting the wind out of the balloon. Just, but
yeah,
they
the
hit
Guardians
it.
had it.
They hit it.
Mm-hmm.
They did. They hit it. Win's a win. So good for you if you were there. And shout out to BetMGM account holders who can get themselves an Any Sport Parlay boost token this week. They're doing their 7 days of parlays. Day one here with a bigger payout if you wager with the Parlay Boost token hits. So those tokens can be used on parlays or SGPs, aka same game parlays. So go check that out. Any sport Parlay Boost token. There'll be some specific sport ones coming up over the next 7 days.
What was the stat I saw? Almost 85% of the bets are on parlays. It's more fun that way.
You're a parlay guy.
Oh,
parlay
yeah.
Pap's
It's more
a parlay
fun that
guy.
way. Like
Yeah.
I forget what the
Pierzynski.
stat was. It's like
Yeah,
85. No, that's Parlay Pap. I kicked his butt in the playoffs.
you did.
But 85% of bets or something. I don't know.
Our parlays.
Our parlays.
Yeah, it's a bigger win.
It's more fun. You're rooting for
Yeah.
more than just one thing.
Yeah. I rarely do this, but this past week, and I did some touchdown ones from a dude who I like to follow who throws picks out, and he nailed it. It was like plus 750. I was like, all right, screw it. This guy's been hot on. He specifically like nails touchdown picks. But anyway, go check it out. 7 days of parlays on the BetMGM app. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll be right back for a little That's What He Said Part 2.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. All right, I'm just going to read this exchange. Pat Murphy is the gift that keeps on giving. Manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. They're trying to have a serious talk with him about the team post-trade of Devin Williams. And they asked how they're going to figure out the infield. Now that Adames is gone, you add Caleb Durbin to the mix with Platinum Glover, Bryce Terang. So Murph goes, they go, how do you make that call? And Murph goes, well, we've got cell phones now. We don't have rotary phones. The way you make it is you can go call Bryce Terang. And it comes up as your contact, though. He's in my contacts as Slim Shady. So it's kind of a new thing if you have one of the providers, one of those things. And then seriously, they were like, okay, but we know the strengths of Ortiz and Terang, pluses, minuses. Who's stopping them from saying now what they plan to do? And Murph goes, well, when you buy furniture, you don't just pick it out of a catalog. You like to go down, touch it, sit on it, feel it, all that stuff. He's gonna feel out Durbin before he makes his call. I hope not. Durbin's actually,
he's gonna touch him, sit on him,
he's
feel
a little
him.
bowling ball, but he's 5'6" listed. So
it's just funny.
Pat Murphy's
it's
got some size on him.
such a Murph thing to say.
Yeah. Well, he's not just gonna say, hey, we'll figure it out in spring training. He wants to mess with him a little bit. So good for him. Good job, Murph. Kratz has been there many times.
Always one for a nice comment.
Yes, it is. All right, next one has a little more juice to it, and this is technically a little spreading rumors action. But Carlos Baerga and Mike Deportes, those two Twitter accounts, Baerga, obviously former big leaguer, we're talking about how Vladdy Jr. was given a contract extension offer that was exceeding $340 million with the Blue Jays, and he said, new phone, who dis?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, hey, did you see that Juan Soto signing? Like, I'm humble. I'm not worth that money, but I'm not worth 340. There's a big gap between 340 and
765.
765 with potential opt-ins that could get it past 800. So I feel like I'm worth, I don't know, more than half that. Similar age for free agency. Somewhat similar hitting profiles. Obviously, Soto's better, but it's not too far off. Vladdy Jr. and Kyle Tucker next offseason. Kratz. It's good.
Tucker will get over 400. I don't see Vladdy getting over 400.
You're wrong. You don't see Vladdy getting over 400 at that age? No way.
You think
I'll take
Tucker's
that
gonna
bet
get over 400?
all
Isn't he
day.
older?
Guys, got to look at ages.
How
This
old
is where
Tucker?
everybody misses the boat.
20. He'll be
Kyle
29.
Tucker
He's 28
is-
right now.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to get over 400 because I don't think a team will pay him. Soto was 26, so he got 15 years. 29, he's going to get 10 for 400 because I don't think a team will go over 10 years for him.
I get what you're saying.
I see him more 10, 350 range. They're not going to go 12
You don't see him
years
getting
and he's not gonna
10,
play till
400, 40 a
Huh?
year? Kyle Tucker can get 40 a year if he puts together the seasons like he's done
I'm
in the
just-
past.
hopefully he does. I'm just saying. I don't know.
And then what about Vladdy Jr., who is 25?
Vladdy has
Now he's going to get
next year's
he's
his
going to
26.
get a 12 to 15 year deal. What the AAV is, I don't know, but it's going to be 12 to 15 years.
That new deal, Kratz, will be him going starting age 27 season. Full age 27 season would be 2026.
He'll be a year older. I just think he's going to have to change the stigma around first baseman. I think if he has the same year as he had this past year, he can't have a down year. I think the idea of him having a down year is scary for teams to give out that mega deal. But to me, I don't see any reason he's not going to have an MVP type of year. That's what he's doing, and he's still growing up in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm. Yankees are signing one of those guys. They're pissed about what just happened. They're getting Tucker or Vladdy Jr. Sorry, I'm not a homer.
Vladdy said he wouldn't go there.
Money. Yeah, he changed that. He said that a while back, and then he changed his mind.
Yeah,
he did say that. He said he would never go there.
Follow what's behind me. Follow the green. We're swinging back in a sec. Breaking news, it's a done deal. The Chicago Cubs have acquired Kyle Tucker in a trade with the Houston Astros. Tucker is a free agent after this season. He is a superstar. He's one of the best players in Major League Baseball, period. Last year was on an MVP track on that conversation at the start of the year. Of course, he went down for about half the season with an injury, but when he is on the field, he's a stud. He's been on the field for the majority of his career. There's no injury-plagued label on Kyle Tucker. Guys, he's a five-tool player. Am I right? How do you describe Kyle Tucker? Like, give me the scouting report on what the Cubs are getting. We'll go to the Astros side in a moment. But what are the Cubs getting? Because, Kratz, there's a lot of vanilla in what the Cubs were putting out there recently. And they said, we need a superstar. This is a superstar. They need to switch things up. Some teams felt like that. This helps.
He is a Astro machine. Astros changed up how you take your at-bats, the way you swing at pitches, what pitches you swing at, and he's only gotten better. He has done a great job of zoning in his pitches, but then being able to put the bat on the ball on pitches that are on the edge when it comes to two strikes. This is a huge, huge get. We're talking about a monster. Oh, he can play the outfield too.
Stud, kind of piggyback what Kratzy said, man. This guy, I would love to see him go to, more of a team in contention. Don't get me wrong.
Shots fired.
No, I'm not shooting shots. I'm just spitting facts. But, overall, I think, the Cubs did a really good job here of getting him. They gave away a couple guys, as we talked about, but this is nice, man. This guy can play. He's just a ball player. And Dusty Baker always said it best. When you get named, hey, look at that guy, man. That guy's just a ball player. And that's what he is. He's a ball player, and he plays the game the right way, and he can mash. And his swing is beautiful. I don't care what anybody says.
All right, guys, ready for this? The OPS Plus league ballpark adjusted, right? For Juan Soto was 178. Kyle Tucker, 181 this past season. Kyle Tucker played half a season. Okay, that is true, almost exactly. 78 games. Baseball Reference WAR was about 5, and for Soto, his Baseball Reference WAR in a full season was 8. So if you do double up what Kyle Tucker brought in his prime years for the Astros this season, he was, according to many front offices, a more valuable player. You got time for like 2 fan questions. Quick Kratz hats first, because also while you're showing the other side, I think we're going to have some new inventory soon for you. But what do you got?
Syracuse Chiefs, the old Cooperstown Classic hat. Nice commemorative little patch that we got put on there for playing in the Cooperstown Classic.
Yeah, the patch is better than the logo. The logo's tough. Not good tough. It's me, for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's been better Chiefs logos. But, okay. More hats coming soon. Some unique ones. Hint, hint. Tomorrow, Farhan Zaidi, former leader of the Giants front office, is going to join us. And we never got anything official out there, right? He's not with the Dodgers yet. There were just those little whispers about talks. Okay, so we'll ask him, even if he can't say much. We'll ask him. We'll throw it out there. All right, 2 quick questions. And maybe they're not that quick, but Montgomery asked, is the M's pitching staff that good if they're in the most pitcher-friendly park, or does that play into it?
I think it plays into it, but they also have really good arms.
Yeah.
I mean, Gilbert,
They're good on the road.
Castillo. I mean, we can go on and on with their Wu, Miller. I mean, they have good arms.
Yeah, they're
and
nasty.
they develop pitchers, and they also figure out bullpen guys.
Yep.
So I know I forgot one of their starters, but Kirby. I forgot Kirby.
Kirby's good.
Yeah.
He's
They
very
have 5 legit starters.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a legit bullpen with Munoz that throws 100.
Yes, they do a nice job of developing pitching. Sam Kim wants to know, would unique pitchers like Jamie Moyer be successful in today's game?
Yes.
Kratz?
100%. It was exit velocity. He limited exit velocity. He got ripped sometimes, but through strikes, limited exit velocity. That's a value.
I know it's not as low, but Max Fried limits exit velo, like you were talking about earlier in the show.
There's guys, Kyle Hendricks, you have to be better. The Kyle Hendricks was a guy that he's kind of lost a little bit of his command.
But in his
But
prime.
Jamie Moyer what Jamie Moyer did better than anybody is he'd pitch you inside and you jam the crap out of yourself and you'd be so mad. I told him this when we saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would jam me at 82 and I would be so mad. Mark Burley would do it at 85. He'd just throw that cutter in on righties, then throw the changeup away. I mean,
And they pour strikes
deception.
in. They pitch fast, they pour strikes in. Yeah, it's a quick 0-2, and then you're battling. Cardinal Territory, first episode. Katie Wu, Trevor Rosenthal. Go check it out. We'll talk to Farhan Zaidi tomorrow. Oh, yeah, on the screen, too. Just pause the screen, do the little QR code thing. Show your friends or parents how to do it if they're unaware. QR codes have been around for a minute. See you Wednesday.